Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalVistor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Woohoo, party! Like it's on sale for $19.99. All right, let's see if we get this YouTube page. Do it insane while I get the hiccups. Hey, there we go. Awesome. All right. Had a fun episode today with our resident day traders, trading up ES and gold futures, and talking a little Bitcoin as well with Kieran and Daniele. And we have a really fun crew. First thing in the morning, trading away through the New York kill zone. The Europeans, of course, it's at the end of their day, so it's nice relaxed time, afternoon for them. And for me, over on the wet coast of North America here, it's the very beginning of my day, like 4 o'clock in the morning. But nonetheless, we have participants that pop in from all over Europe and North America. In fact, actually, Kevin's even in with us in the mornings. And Graham's doing a great work with his Keltner channels and Bollinger Band setup breakout system. And actually, we've even got him talking to Sjord, and he'll get that trading setup into the screener system. Man, I tell you, man, sky's the limit. It's so cool, all the sort of overlap of, we've got Sjord, who's off in screener land and algorithm land. And then, of course, like I said, Kieran and Daniele are in there trading the ES and the gold futures on like 8-bar range charts and having a great old time just scalping the market. Tonight, TRI on Tuesdays, we have our Secret Options Formula Club meeting, where a bunch of us who love to trade penny stocks and options and warrants get together and talk swing trades and all that kind of fun talk. And of course, this is a crypto-friendly market, so sprinkle crypto in here and there. And we even have we got a sort of a subgroup at TRI who are super jazzed into the DeFi space. And they're all having a great old time as well. Astronaut Dave. I haven't heard too much from Astronaut Dave. I hope he's doing good. But a bunch of TRIers are, of course, hip deep into the crypto space. So, man, we got a lot of things on the go. And interestingly enough, we're so busy, but the internals of the market are like, meh, nothing really to write home about. Which seasonally, of course, is pretty appropriate. The only question here is, clearly the central planners, central bank, I mean, it's sad how our democracies have just basically dissolved. And now we seem to live in this it's like a... I guess you call it like an oligarchy. Actually, it's very similar to the way that the post-Soviet Union kind of Russia world went under Putin. No, not under Putin. Under Boris. What was his name? Yeltsin, right? Boris Yeltsin? I think that's what his name was. The mayor of Moscow. Anyway, who knows how the fuck this is going to play out. I mean, let's just all hope we live through this, right? Probably best not to have an opinion. I mean, hell, I would not be surprised if Mr. Trump comes storming back here in a couple of years and he's labeled sort of like a savior dictator to save us from the banksters, and the whole pendulum swings violently the other direction. This ain't over by a long shot, folks. Not by a long shot. With regard to speculating and capital gains and I suppose even income generation from the market, we've gone through quite a wonderful period here. And as I sort of started off this conversation a little bit, do the people that want to in essence, just make us add a zero to the end of all prices and inflate our way out of the old debt situation. Are they going to get away with this? And if that's the case, then do we start hearing more talk about spending more money if we start to see the stock market break it all? There is a fairly sizable voice in the marketplace that's like, whoa, enough is enough. This is ridiculous. I think it's still a minority at this point, but that voice is growing. And that's the voice that's going to bring Trump back and appoint him as a king down the road if we're not careful. So the left is in charge in the states right now, but if they screw this up, you might see the right come just storming back with vengeance. In my country, just to the north, of course, we're basically a vassal state to all intents and purposes to the United States. So really, probably our number one job is just, we just got to get through this. What concerns me is that, the people that are in charge in Canada, same sort of thing as the States. The oligarchs are basically running the show. And, do loudmouth, boisterous, middle-aged, balding white men end up getting themselves in trouble because they just bark too loudly, and Big Brother says, we don't really want you to have the right to speak your mind anymore. Off to the concentration camp you go, sir. I sure hope not, but we'll see how it goes. That's the kind of times we're living in, right? And Jesus, I don't even want to be a part of this. But it is what it is. Actually, it's interesting. My buddy Sharktoshi, Sharktoshi, our resident Demon Gap hunter. He shared a really cool video by one might call them like a social dissident nowadays. But video by Noam Chomsky, who's considered a troublemaker, leftist, anti-capitalist down in the States. But he's probably going to get more of an ear now because the policies that have been put in place 40, 50 years ago started off with sort of Ronald Reagan. Man, they have just gutted our society, just absolutely gutted the fabric of it. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Rant. When's this guy going to talk about markets? Isn't it? This is about trading or something like that? Our prognostication for the U.S. dollar and really sort of this is a good temperament on sort of risk on, risk off. I think you could make the argument sort of through the late winter there. People were starting to get a little stressed out. Sickness was starting to ramp up. But then, we kind of broke a bit and into the spring. Prices bid back up. People feeling more optimistic. U.S. dollar index come back down. I still, believe it or not, am actually a U.S. dollar bull. It's more U.S. dollar versus euro versus Canadian dollar versus Japanese yen versus Australian dollar. Whose shit stinks the least kind of thing. I'd also say too, going forward, there's going to be a really interesting testament to how societies in the third world cope with this whole COVID situation. Are we even being told the truth out of what's actually happening in China right now, considering what's happening in India? I mean, they're next door neighbors. These are billions of people. What's happening in India can't be too different than what's happening in China. They're not that far away. They're right side by side. And there's like billions of people. So it's not like it's going to be like cut and dry, black and white. So I don't even, we don't even really know what the hell's actually going on inside a country like China. I don't even know if it's the truth that what we're being told. But holy moly, what's going on in India? Wow, incredible. And unfortunately, I've said, and I know it sounds kind of, blah, and don't really want to hear it. But I think that this cycle, what ends up happening is it's the third world. It's all the emerging markets. Those are the people that are going to get hurt the most out of this cycle correction. And, this sort of, recession, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's actually going to be felt the least in countries like the United States. And since everybody's so focused on U.S. and U.S. media and Hollywood and, what's the latest, blockbuster movie, all that kind of nonsense, and, American Icon, because everything's so American focused over here, especially Canada, right beside the country, the message actually is going to be like, actually, this wasn't so bad. But in third world countries, down South America, Africa, I think a good portion of Asia, man, this COVID and the 5-10 years coming here ahead of us, has got disaster. Well, it is disaster. It doesn't have disaster written all over it. Is. Anyway. So I guess the way I'm looking at it right now is the U.S. is trying desperately to vaccinate their entire population, which is quite commendable, I gotta say. Even here in Canada, we're having a very, very tough time getting this whole vaccine thing going. So just even being, and we're so close to the United States, but even just being next door, you can already start to see what's going to happen. And this is what I think happens really badly to the emerging markets, is they just get frozen out of this whole vaccine thing. And you get almost like these two different societies, people with vaccine passports and people without. And, if we get a new variant next year or a new variant year after that, and new vaccines are already, in the pipeline, ready to go. Again, who's got the vaccine and the vaccine paperwork and who doesn't? And that, that's sort of speaking to that sort of K-shaped economy, where parts of the world, I think, are going to grow and parts of the world are going to regress. So you better pick your allies in this world, that's for sure. While we're muddling through this, I don't see any bottom here yet. If anything, I'm encouraged that we've come down, filled in gaps. There's a nice tail here that needed eating. We've come down into those levels. We are holding these lows, and keep in mind the original lows that I'm actually thinking will hold actually come back from over here. So I don't think we break this trend line. I think this is just sort of backfilling. Well, we'll see how it goes. The idea that the U.S. is vaccinated, the U.S. economy is going to start getting going again, but the rest of the world is still having a lot of difficulties. We will see, and then heaven forbid, the U.S. economy does okay, but the rest of the world's still sort of in semi-lockdown. And then the Fed decides, well, since the U.S. economy is doing fine and we are U.S. interest rates, we're going to start normalizing interest rate policy, and then the whole fucking world economy just goes into free fall. And that's actually what I think's going to happen. We'll see. Keep in mind, 2022 is supposed to be the year where their shit really hits the fan. I think the rest of 2021 is still more reflation, and that's where, of course, we see our Bitcoin $200,000-$300,000. I like Chico's reference. 1 Bitcoin for 1 house. 1 house. I've got a few of them, so that means to me I get to buy 1 house for Liam, 1 house for Brian, and maybe even a house for Kevin. What do you say, Kevin? You feel like a house?
Woohoo! Sure.
Hey, he's on board.
At least a hut.
A hut.
Yeah, hut. That sounds good.
Well, gee whiz, you've been working with me long enough. I sure hope to God you have more than 1 Bitcoin on the books.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So we'll see how it goes. But, if we do get that ultimate top, then... Actually, we do. I've always had the dream. I said at the end of this cycle, we were going to go island shopping. So we're not going to go house shopping. If Bitcoin hits to 300,000, trust me, we are going island shopping. Anyway, wish us luck. Fingers crossed. As for the broader market, sell in May and walk away. I get the feeling that, the stock market's kind of, I mean, it's expensive. But at the same time, too, Fed's basically said, we're not going to take the punch bowl away. If the Fed says we're taking the punch bowl away, look out. You can actually see the next correction coming, right? You guys, anybody who's watched this channel for a while, you know exactly what I'm going to say here. So, actually interesting how that's actually not even relevant. So we'll go boom, boom. So there's 38.2s. Could probably do the same study. But there is reload zones. 50% level, of course, right here. In fact, actually, the way I would look at it is like this. I'd go, where are we here? Colin, where are you, Colin? Colin, pump chaser. There we go. So these are sort of like the zones that I would be expecting support to come in. So there's zone 1. Usually I like to color this like teal. And I used to just exclusively say there, and we used to call it the first stop target, 38.2s. But yeah, and I love to listen to my students. In fact, actually, one of the students turned teacher is actually teaching us in the day trader room this really cool setup using Keltner channels and Bollinger Bands right now. And I hadn't used that in decades, it seems. And it was great to have a nice little refresher and get back using that again. But it just goes to show, right? 30 years in this business, always learning, always growing, always adding, always refining, always tweaking. You know how it goes. And, of course, my reload zones, I like these 61.8 to 78.6. So, you can actually see exactly where I would be expecting this market to work its way down. And we always say, at any given point in time, you should look out for 38.2. So at any given point in time, this crazy stock market could lose. Where are we here? Let's see how much money this is. From here, just any given point in time, you could see the stock market lose 20%. Just like that. That's how risky this world is now. And I'll tell you, 5-10 years ago, when the Fugazi was well underway, and like 10 years ago when the housing market wasn't, well, I guess Jesus, that's a lot longer ago than that anyway. So 14 years ago, geez, that's how long ago the damn housing bubble was. But when Junior Bush was leader of the free world, and out killing Arabs right, left, and center. Darth Cheney. Those are all the people that set up the world that we live in today, by the way. And of course, at the time, well, they were like labeled heroes. Now look at the mess we're in. And interestingly enough, at the same time, along comes Bitcoin. So in a weird sort of way, I wouldn't even be surprised that, because basically Bitcoin started, 2008? So I wouldn't even be surprised that it all around the same time. And keep in mind, that's when it's sort of official. Bitcoin was probably in the works for like 5 years before that. And I've always thought that Bitcoin was a CIA pet project. And Bush Sr., it wouldn't surprise me. In fact, actually, it wouldn't surprise me if this was all part of that original plan. They put into place all the things to bankrupt the United States of America and bankrupt the U.S. government, and they built at the same time a tool that they could use as an exit strategy and maybe even set up as the new monetary base following the destruction of this thing called the United States of America. A la Bitcoin. I mean, it's a perfect scenario, I'll tell you. And it's got the George Bush Sr. name written all over it for planning purposes. Anyway. So at any given point in time, you should expect a 17% correction in the stock market. Who knows when it comes. I mean, that's just even from these levels. From the old highs, it would be even higher. They always say, W.D. Gann, he always says that a healthy, normal correction, just to keep everybody honest, is 50% from the highs. So that would be a 25% correction in real dollars. That would actually be good, right? This is fluffy. This is frothy. This is inflationary. And really, I might argue that your buy, where you actually could seriously invest again in the stock market, is somewhere down in this area. And that's a good, 40% lower than, the peaks. I hate to say it, I like that thinking. So, holy bejesus, this world's gotten risky again. And also remember, too, that Powell said repeatedly on the way up here that U.S. fiscal policy is not sustainable. I mean, we all know that. Shouldn't surprise anybody. And, of course, deficits aren't going to work. And what will kill all of this is the deficits in the United States and most of these Western worlds are just going through the roof. And as a result, the market is saying, look at, as long as the deficits aren't out of control and you're sort of staying within sort of 3% GDP sort of growth rate, then, you can at least believe in the voodoo economics angle. All right, we'll let you get away with that low inflation, price stability. With these deficits just going absolutely haywire, I mean, staggering numbers, just you can't even conceive how big they are. Government's just basically completely lost all logic. It's like a crack addict, just desperately out there looking for the next fix. We're starting to get that price inflation that's actually going to bring all of this. It's sad. It's going to bring a society to a collapsing end. It's exactly the same thing that happened in Russia. Exactly the same. Like I said yesterday, the day that they stop paying the military, that's the day when you know that the United States of America's days are numbered. So let's hope for your sakes, U.S. citizens, they keep paying the Army, because the day they stop paying the Army, look out. The question ultimately here is one of two things. Either one, this sort of Weimar, Germany, Zimbabwe, Venezuela scenario keeps going. And people like Willy Woo with their on-chain metrics say that, well, it looks like the price of corn's pointing towards $200,000-$300,000. That is that scenario. That's going to be another almost like 10x from where we are now. So, it sucks. I went to a fucking restaurant the other day to get a hamburger, and it was close to $20. Probably by the end of this cycle, when I go to that restaurant to get that hamburger is going to be $200. That's probably what this all means. So sad. But anyway, that's here nor there. So, just the point here is with an image that looks like that, I can't really go out and buy a hell of a lot of stock right now. The old adage, sell in May and walk away. So we got that right happening in front of us. I mean, they might do what they did last year. So remember, last year was the big crisis. The sky's falling. Then cranked it up here into May. Notice May kind of went sideways a bit. And then we broke out higher. And notice we checked back at that level again. Rallied up, checked that level again. Okay, yeah, we really do want to move higher. So that probably, if this is the base of a new floor, it probably means it's probably going to look something like that, right? I don't think there's a real hurry. I would prefer to, let the W's come in. Then on Wyckoff checks, I'll look to be buyers of stuff there. And sadly, in this kind of environment, there is sort of one asset that seems to be pretty popular right now that's been on the outs forever. But it would make sense, if you got these deficits running out of control, it makes sense that, inflation hedges that historically haven't really done much are starting to come to life again. Especially with the way Bitcoin has been so dramatically run up here. You can see the gold market's got a hell of a head of steam behind it. Gold, gold, gold. All that glitters is gold. Actually, I kind of like the silver market here too now. It's interesting though. Not really too much of a fan of yen because I think the situation in Japan is just as bad, if not worse. And I'm not really a fan of bonds because I'm expecting interest rates to go up. So that sort of, it doesn't give you a lot of alternatives if you want to get out of the market. And that's why, in a weird sort of way, there's names like this one here, this First Majestic Silver. Love the look of that one. I don't know what happened here. I thought I had a order to buy some of this stock, but let's see. Was it filled? And also, I'm trying to buy the call options on this. So, well, I'll have to look later on. I thought I bought. I had the order in. The question is, was it a day order and did I get filled? I don't think I got filled. And then I threw it back in again this morning. I might have gotten filled through here, so I'm not quite sure. But you can see my bid was that level there. I don't think I got filled, though. Jerks. I've done this a couple times on some of these gold stocks. I think it's subconsciously because I'm not totally committed to wanting to load up on the gold. But nonetheless, the signals are coming in. And I think subconsciously I'm fighting myself. But yeah, you can see. So I'm trying to buy the call options on this guy, but he has jumped up and I need the actual stock to come back and fill in these gaps here to get those cheap bid calls there. And I'm trying to buy this in my registered account, like the actual stock itself. I could very easily see this come back and fill in these gaps though, so don't be shocked if it has to pull back. So that's why I'm not really like overly aggressive. But if I did get this fill here, I'd be happy with that because it's just basically buying that big W there. So we'll see how it goes. You can kind of feel like, I don't know whether you can feel it. I certainly can. Like just even like a week or two ago. Everything was all woohoo, party, rock and roll. Remember all that Coinbase shit? And I mean, like, look at the screen. Remember how active these silly crypto stocks were a couple weeks ago? Into that Coinbase IPO. And then you look at them now, and it's just like, well, what the hell happened? Who pulled the plug? Which just goes to show that it was probably 90% bullshit. But look at this. I mean, this thing, it'll change colors every time you see a trade. I haven't seen a trade yet. There's one. I saw one. As I just, there it traded. Up 20 cents. I mean, what a spread, eh? What was that, like 104 or 103.99 to 104.20 or so? There's one. There's a trade. There's a couple trades. But I mean, holy Jesus, these things were going crazy. Look at this Coinbase. Look at it. It's just sitting there. 209. 209 is last trade. 195 is last trade. 246.29 down 195 on the day. Do I get a bid and offer? Anyone? Just traded down. We're down $1.81. I mean, geez, you can drive a truck through these spreads, eh? So, I mean, this is like a shadow of what it was there just even a few weeks ago. Something does not smell right here with this bull. Sell in May and walk away, so not really in a big hurry. And of course, I like buying W's, so what a big surprise. Silver stock kind of looks okay. But if we look at something like that, that's not a W. Oh, Jesus, look at that big breakdown there. And what's worse about these kind of names is they're actually, see this pretty well defined, boom, 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 boom. Never did go through that high there. So that is projecting all the way down here. What's that? $158. Ouch. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of, actually, I probably would go there to there and then there to there, which takes you down into here. Well, it looks like that high, though, did not get broken. Daniele and Kiran were on the call today, so as a result, I'm able just to sort of talk a little bit because I didn't really talk too much in the daily brief because they do such a great job. Yeah, actually, I'm comfortable with this. Yeah, that works. Boom, 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 boom. So all the way down here. Wow. That's just even off of this consolidation zone here. Like that. I think that's still valid. Anyway. So, gee whiz, awfully tough to get bullish about crypto here. You know, the ETFs. Oh, yeah, look at that. What a mess. I mean, it looks like maybe we're getting a little bit of a, sharpshooters. What day is today? Tuesday? It's not really that big of a day. But, I could maybe see something down in here. Try and sharpshoot and shoot for gaps, be filled. But, gee whiz. Actually, this kind of makes sense. Because remember Willy Woo guy, he was saying 40,000, that area. Probably not a bad area for you to be thinking about, like the corn itself. Trying to find a bottom. Let's see if we can find a chart there for you. Yeah, I guess this is over here, right? Yeah, actually, yeah. So you can see on those ETFs. About a week or so ago, maybe even longer than that, I drew out this sort of A, B, C, D kind of thinking. And you can see market's just begrudgingly sort of working its way down into these levels here. Has that A, B, C, D level actually been hit yet? I don't know. When you got, geez, look at all these trend lines. You got like 3 of them all coming together all right here. I have seen in the past where maybe we W here and head back up. I mean, you can see this latest rally here was on like no volume at all. So really, this move here is bullshit. And then, I think, I don't even know. Kevin, have you watched any of these videos of Willy Woo and that kind of stuff recently?
I haven't.
No. I do remember I watched a video back here. I mean, it was back probably maybe even late March. It could have been a couple months ago. Where he was being interviewed by a gentleman, and he was saying he really liked this 40,000 area as a floor. I don't know if that's the same. It might have completely changed. Maybe Willy Woo or any of Willy Woo fans, if you happen to be watching this and you know offhand if he's still looking for that level, maybe put a comment or bark at me or something. But, I'm on balance. I don't mind that level. It looks like a perfectly good level. What I'm worried about here is I hate when it does this and then the double bottom comes in up here. And so you're like, okay, well, Brian, you and your W's, that means I have to buy here. And yet the actual harmonic objective is here. And that's like literally, what is that? That's 46. And the low there's 41. So that's like $5,000 per coin. Ugh. So I don't know exactly where the hell the bottom here is. If anything, what I would say is I like the idea of just putting yourself on a dollar cost averaging plan. As we said there before, with regard to the S&P 500, at any given point in time, you should expect like a good, 30-40% correction in price. So, if our top here is 65 grand, well, what the hell is, 35% of 65 grand, that's going to be a pretty big number. Where are we here? Calendar? No, don't want calendar. I want calculator. So, 65. Yeah, we'll even show you. See, this is how I punch buttons into a machine. 65 times point. Why don't we say... let's say 38, right? 38.2. 38%. Let's see what that is. Boom. 24,700 bananas. So 65 minus 24.7 equals 40,300. So that is basically my 38, not 38.2, but 38% correction off of the highs, which is what we should expect at any given point in time. Well, here we are, folks. I mean, the funny thing is this isn't anything new. It's not right. It's funny, actually. I even put this comment down. This isn't rocket science. But somebody said no, Brian, but it's like quantitative science or something like quantum mechanics. No, you know what it is? It's understanding that actually we end up doing the same things over and over and over and over and over. And what you gotta somehow learn, people, seriously. This is the little learning piece from today's rant. You gotta tune out what people are saying on social media. It's irrelevant. It doesn't make a fucking difference. You have to try and identify an asset that's trading near the bottom end of its range. You have to try and find price structure that sort of gives you a visualization that buyers are overwhelming sellers. Well, that's what the W is all about. And then you just have to have the patience and discipline to put a portion of your money to work and just let it work. And then when the market affords you the opportunity to pay yourself for that hard work, you gotta do it. You gotta pay yourself. That's the secret to this whole game, people. Just gave you it. You sat there and had to listen 20 minutes of bullshit. And I just gave you the secret. It's just that simple. So as for the corn, I get the feeling we're kind of now, it's interesting. You've got people that I think are really actually very, very bad for you to listen to and learn from. Very, very bad. Telling you what they think is good and bad in the marketplace, and so as a result that's influencing your decision making process. It shouldn't, but it is. I don't know whether I would necessarily consider Bitcoin a good buy here. It's just that if you were going to sell and take profits, well, you're coming to that event a bit late here. I mean, like I said, the market's already come off 30-40%. So, if anything, what I kind of like here is just a big fat trading range. Literally for the next 4 or 5 months. That would be best in my opinion. It's things like Ethereum that if you do get this big honkin' pullback down into reload zones really violently, very quickly, this could be an absolute gift that the market is giving you. So just be prepared for that if you can take advantage of this. Keep in mind, if Ethereum does come down really hard here and bang up against value high here, that's like $1,500, there's going to be blood in the streets. It means something has gone horribly wrong for somebody. Hack or DeFi this or Vitalik that or something. And when that happened with Bitcoin last go round, it was a fantastic opportunity. And it happened just on the Silk Road auction event. The event was over, auction was done, and the price just came screaming right back down to earth, tagged 61.8, and never looked back. And that was at about $500-$600 a coin. So that's why I say that with regard to Ethereum. I think it could be one hell of a cool buy level down in here. I don't know whether... See, the interesting thing with the corn is, 40 grand to 200, 300 grand. Well, that's some pretty good numbers. You know me, I do crazy things. Like I'll go and take a Bitcoin that I have and I'll break it up into small pieces. And then I'll go do something silly like, what was it? This Aave, I like so much, I was trading it on a couple different plans. I got stopped out on one trade setup, but on another trade setup and another plan, actually I was able to bang out a double here today. Oh, way to go, Brian. I had it written up, and actually I even put out a nice little tweet about it. Just running my small business of trading. Actually, interesting. It was a pretty well-defined bot there, eh? So remember, I took this bot here and I got stopped out when I went away on vacation. I just liquidated it and that was fine. But it turns out I had another plan working on another exchange. My Nanny Nibbles little old lady strategy. Except where the hell's the damn chart? Anyway, I did up a really nice write-up here and even tweeted it out today. But I don't see it here. Hey, there it is. So this is fun. Totally unexpected. I mean, I was like, what the hell? I thought crypto was exhausted. Evidently not. DeFi sure seems to still be in the spotlight here, and it's probably one of the things that's going to sort of turn the market around here through sort of May, June, and start setting the stage for big bull markets later on this summer. I mean, geez, that's a strong market. So all I did was I just saw this asset, this particular plan. This is versus Bitcoin. I keep a bunch of Bitcoin on Trex just so I can go and nibble away on ideas that I like. So that's exactly what I did here. Bought the W, threw in another bid at line in the sand, which is interesting. It would not have been filled had I not been stopped out on the other trade. So that's kind of ironic. One stop out leads to another fill. And you can see I had another bid down here at 88.6, but they said, screw you, Brian, we're not going to give you that one. So I got these two fills in, totally awesome. And of course today I got filled selling half of that at double my purchase price. So I've got some of this free on the books. That's a nice little treat. Wasn't expecting that. Got my shitcoin 5000 list going here. I mean, most of these, they're not going to do anything. And then one day you're going to wake up and some promoter's going to say something and boo, the thing just takes off. So I don't really expect anything out of this. And this is kind of like this list. Most of these bids are down at the bottom end of the range. So you can see this like SIB. It's starting to work its way back down. I think I had a bid against old market structure level. I think I got filled a bit on that one. I already bought this series, so I'm already looking like shit here. So what? I don't care. Yeah, Enigma. I think I got some fills on that thing. So, but you can see a lot of these. Ooh, so this EXP, I'll probably come down into buy levels here. So, you know, this one here, the more looks like he's starting to come down there. So, go update this. Somebody has asked me on the site for like official sort of promotion material and stuff, and I'm like, there's nothing promotion about this. This is a shitcoins. So I do have a spreadsheet. I posted it somewhere just of the list and the fills. I'll throw that in the lounge later on. But you know, I mean, we're just having fun here. I guarantee I'm gonna make money, but so fucking what? I guarantee you also too, you're gonna lose money. I'm gonna guarantee you both directions, so that way you don't have to worry. You're guaranteed both ways. Buy my product. I guarantee you'll make money, and I absolutely guarantee you're gonna lose money. Buy my product. What? Anyway, so that's the kind of fun that I'm going to have over the next month or two, is building up my little shitcoin 5000 list. And the funny thing is now, you know, like this, I put Bitcoin in and I get my Bitcoin back. So this is free coins now sitting on the books. I have no idea what the hell this thing's going to do. But now I got some more Bitcoin to go and add to my shitcoin 5000s. So super stoked. Actually, you know, probably a name to watch for leadership. This Decred always moves first. It did last cycle. It did this cycle. When I saw it move first this cycle, I was like, you can't be serious. It's not doing it again, is it? So last cycle, and I don't know whether it probably doesn't even show here. Last cycle, it moved back at the beginning of 2017. Remember, the end of this silly bull market was 2018. So this guy moved way ahead of the curve. Right there is January, February. There's March. So I thought it was interesting to see. There's sort of January, February. It was getting going. Here we are, actually May now. But this guy here, I think, is probably a really good sort of, I don't know what it is about this guy. He's a nice leading indicator in the space. And probably, you know, simple trend lines. There's a resistance line. Probably there to there. So this is actually a pretty important level right here. So if we can't get up through the top here, then this should become pretty stiff resistance. So let's keep an eye on how she can act. You can see she zipped up there, big M, rejection right off the bat, then right back up, wash the noob stops, and now actually even trying to break higher here. So fascinating. Like I said, this guy's a really good anecdote for sort of a leading indicator in this altcoin space, and it looks to me like he's getting ready for his next leg higher here. So, all right. So I don't know whether I really helped you at all here. Wishy-washy market. We're finishing up that U.S. tax deadline window. Sell in May and walk away. I'd be very leery about any risk sort of assets here. Don't know whether we've hit a bottom on the coin yet, but I do like the idea. We're pretty close to the bottom end of the trading range. And then, of course, altcoins. Man, there's some incredible altcoins out there. Actually, to finish off the video, a really good analogy of what I think this market's like. I put out a tweet this morning saying, I don't want how do we say this? Well, what is this? Man, our channel is getting spammed here. Do you notice that, Kevin? Look at this, like these promoted tweets. It's incredible how they just keep spamming us, jerks. Hate that. Yeah.
I haven't really noticed that.
Yeah, every time I load this up, there's always what the hell is this nonsense? There's always somebody spamming me.
Yeah, the Twitter
jerks. But I put out a tweet this morning. This right here. It doesn't really matter what the name of this coin is. Doesn't matter the price. What I really want you to see is the message. What kind of market state is this? Does that look like the top of a rip-roaring bull market? I hope you say no. Does that look like, Jesus Christ, this thing looks like it's about to get ready to go apeshit? I hope you said yes, because it does. Show me the W's. So, what does this mean about the state of crypto? It's funny, like I did videos with popular crypto people back a year or two ago, and we looked at the Ethereum chart, and it basically looked exactly like this thing looked like right about here. And when we did the video, nobody was interested. It was just the hardcore people who watched that video. Everybody else, not. And, most of the talking heads in the space were actually calling for lower Bitcoin. And altcoins were going to go out of business. So, I can only try and convey this message to you so much. At some point you get the message or you don't. It's my privilege to try and show you what a way out. One thing that's fantastic about what I do is we don't live the Joey Diamond world. We sit and make fun of these people. You sit and you poke holes, and if you have half-decent education base, then you listen to some people barking in, social media with other people about whose blockchain is the best, and you look at all of them and you go, well, I can't invest in any of this stuff. It's way overvalued. Doesn't mean down the road you can't invest. Doesn't mean the stories aren't good, but hey, we're here to make money from trading. So that's what we do. That's the world that we live in. It pisses me off to watch, especially people who punch a clock, maybe collect a pension or something like that. They've got no way out. And I really pity those people. That's why I do these shows and these channels, is to really speak to those people. If you want to empower yourself, there is a way out. It's not too difficult, but it is a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of smarts, but it takes a hell of a lot of patience and discipline. But there is a way out. And the way out is you have to learn to look at an image like what you see on your screen and identify that actually that's actually not a bad idea to be thinking about making some money in. Opportunity is now here. Opportunity is nowhere. There's no wrong way to say that line. It's just really a question of your perspective. So, there's your market for you, folks. have some fun. Don't take too much risk. That's what usually undoes people is they bet the farm on one bet and it goes wrong and they just can't recover from it, and then that's it. And then you just throw your arms up and you get all angry and you don't look at the market again for 10 years. So bet small, go slow. There's no hurry. Tons of money to be made out there. But you just got to have the patience and discipline to wait for the W's. When the W's come in, then we can act. But until the W's start showing themselves, I would suggest you cool your jets. Okay, think I'm going to leave it at that. Sure hope you got some value out of it. Tonight's TRISOF. Tomorrow, that means we got Kevin on the Daily Brief. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll even get him to come on the recap and even talk to you a little bit. Who knows? So, actually, Kevin, you want to practice your coming out of the closet line?
Okay.
Wait a minute. Coming out of the closet, that's probably not the best term. I try to get, if it's one thing I absolutely love about these videos, everybody, is it gives me the opportunity to empower you, whether I'm teaching you ways to make money from trading or, our site people, I want them to get over stage fright and become good public speakers. I mean, do I sound like I have confidence when I'm talking to you? I pull off this public speaking thing? Well, it's only because I have a lot of practice. So when I get these people to come out of their shell and just really just go for it, it's great to see them blossom. So what do you think, Kevin? You can tell me to go hell if you want to. I don't mind. But you want to take us on out of here today?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, PMA for the win, everybody. Don't take no wooden nickels. And the only thing left for us to say here is...
Bye.